Hi, this is Suzanne from EFT-scripts.com, and I'm answering a question that I get a lot. What do I do about long COVID? I'm so worried about long COVID. I'm so worried I can't sleep. I'm so worried. And whenever I get palpitations or whenever I get muscle tension or whenever I get this symptom or that symptom or the other symptom, I get really worried and panicked, and I need you to help me. And basically, those of you who don't know me know that I've been living with the equivalent of long COVID from an osteovirus since about 36 years ago, I think. My maths isn't very good today. Since about 36 years ago of making this video. So I've been through all that. I know what you're going through. And going from one doctor to another, maybe trying this, trying that, trying the other. This might work a little bit, this might work a little bit, whatever. And what I've found is there is a lot of wisdom in the principle that if you free your mind body as a whole, if you free your mind body of stress as much as you can, then your body can heal itself as much as it can. Now, obviously, there's more to it than that. And people that I work with one-to-one, I may go out and find people or find things for them to help them on the physical as well. But in the main, what I do is I release all the stresses in their lives. I make sure that when they think about the symptoms that they're getting, they feel zero anxiety, which is very hard if anxiety is one of the things that long COVID causes. Now, I'm not sure. That's the thing, I'm not sure. So, but I have been working with some people with long COVID, and we are bringing the stress levels down. So could it be that if you keep bringing your stress levels down to a minimum, life would be a lot nicer and a lot easier? You'll be able to think more clearly. And I'm sure in time, all the physical bits that we need to know about long COVID will have been sorted. There will be something for everything. But for now, let's concentrate on giving your body the best chance it has to heal by releasing every stress. And what do I mean by that? I mean, first thing is try working on it directly. Like, even though I have this anxiety right now about my long COVID, I just want to feel better. Do that 3 times, and then on all the points, this anxiety I feel right now about my long COVID. And do it on all the points that you usually like using. Different EFT systems have different points. If you like using the 9 gamut, and certainly anybody who studied EFT level 1 with me will know I do teach the 9 gamut still. It's really useful, and it's to do with eye movements. And it really helps. I find that it helps. It's when to introduce it that seems to be making a difference with people. So there's a lot that you can do. I would recommend that you start with at least a few sessions with a practitioner. I'm available on Zoom or on WhatsApp. But if there's another practitioner that you know and like, by all means, contact them. And if long COVID has meant that money is short, don't let that stop you. Ask them if they'll make an exception. Ask them, they might have a sliding scale. Yeah. And most importantly, work on every stress that there is in your body. And for example, people that study EFT with me, because they might become practitioners later, or maybe because that's what they said they want, it is really important that they clear their energy. So I give them between 20 to 60 hours of self-EFT to do, where they go through their life and go that. And that's at level 1. At level 2, it's 60 hours. And then at level 3, it's more. And they'll have to kind of really prove that they've done all their work on themselves by the time they become EFT masters. I'm saying this because you, even if you don't want a qualification, even if you don't want to do a course, you too can work on everything that's ever happened to you. Try working directly on the anxiety as you think of a symptom. Choose. Maybe you can write a list of the different symptoms. And as you look at each symptom, write a number next to it of how much stress, how much anxiety, how much stress, how bothered you are as you think about that symptom. Where 10 is like the worst you could get, and 0 is kind of calm, right? Or kind of at peace with it. I'm at peace with this. I'm aware of it. I'm doing everything I can to sort it out, but I'm not going to stress about it. That's what I mean. Yeah. So get all of that down to 0. If you find that hard, then it may well be there are things in your childhood. Maybe you had a very anxious mother. Maybe you had a very anxious father. Maybe you have learned to feel on edge all the time in your childhood for some reason or other. If your home life was really good, was your school life really good? That's something to find out about. Also, if you'd been in unhappy relationships in the past, or if you're in an unhappy relationship now, or if you've got somebody in your life that encourages bad habits. So let's say your doctor has said to you, I need you to give up too much sugar, too many sweets, too much wine, too much alcohol, cigarettes, whatever it is, so that your body can have a chance to heal, because we don't have a solution to long COVID as yet. And you're finding it really hard, then that's something that you can also work on. With EFT, you can be very methodical and set aside maybe half an hour to an hour. I'm saying half an hour because I know some people with long COVID can be very tired. So half an hour may be all that you can do, but if you can set an hour or even an hour and a half or 2 every day, doesn't have to be all at once, to work each day on one thing that bothers you. And keep working on that one thing until you get it all down to 0 of, I'm aware of this. Like if it's a symptom, I'm aware of this. I'm at peace with it. When there's a solution, I'm going to grab it with both hands. But for now, I just choose to let the stress go because it's not getting me anywhere. That's like that. Calm. When we're calmer, everything is much easier. And if there are other stresses, other things that make you anxious about your health because of something that's happened in the past, maybe you're in a stressful job even, it doesn't have to be in childhood. You can sit down and list your stresses if that helps you. I usually recommend, if that's too traumatic, not sitting down and listing your stresses every day. Just ask yourself, if there's one thing in my life that stresses me as more than anything else, what would it be? As I think about it, and then work on that. So I hope that this has helped. And it's you've got all my sympathy, you've got all my empathy. You don't have any of my pity, because you certainly don't want that. I never wanted any pity because of my condition. And just to give you an idea, I have run 2 half marathons. And the only sign that you can see in me is that when I'm living in the UK, because medications are very difficult to get that will help my breathing, I sometimes have to go on steroids. So you can see that I'm a bit puffed up. I've put on some weight, you know, but to be quite honest, it's only temporary and it'll come off. So it's not the end of the world. But that's all that you can see. Otherwise, I am so happy that people say to me, why do you work long days sometimes? I say, because I can. If you've got long COVID, you get it. I'm sure you get it. I do it because I can. Doesn't mean that I have some very short working days as well, of course, and take time off whenever I want to. So I hope this helps. And if you need to show this video to somebody who loves you and who needs a bit more understanding, also, I just want to add that as with any long, chronic, whatever you want to call it, condition, we can function perfectly well one day, but then on other days, we're bedbound. You know, the bedbound days no longer happen to me. And that's, you know, I just want to give you that hope. The bedbound days no longer happen to me. Right? And, but, you know, it's just because you look all right on the outside doesn't mean that everything is functioning on the inside as well as it could be. Just because you look really interesting in a conversation, for example, doesn't mean that you're not exhausted and need a rest. So somebody that you love or care for doesn't understand, please show them this video. Anyway, I've rambled on for long enough and I've given you some tapping ideas. If you want any specific tappings, please, please, please ask me in the comments. I respond to all viewer requests as well as I can. Your wish is my command. Please remember to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and get notifications for the next videos, especially if you make a request so that you will get the first notification and get the tapping that you want. See you later.